What is going on, everybody? My name is Tyler Potts, and in today's video we're going to be creating the anime database we did in the previous video, but in React.js. A lot of people requested it, so that's what we're going to do. So as you can see, I've upgraded it since the Few video. If you watched the Few video, we've added a little sidebar in it to make it a little bit more exciting with the top 5 anime currently. So there it is. You've got Death Note, Attack on Titan, Full Metal Alchemist, Sword Art Online, and One Punch Man. And then we've also got a little search here. We've searched for Naruto. We could search for, let's say, My Hero Academia. Search for that, and there you go. We get the My Hero Academia stuff. We returned 10, I believe. Yep, 10 different results. You can return up to 50 or even separate pages. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, so in the first thing we're going to do is obviously we're going to create a new React app. To do that, we're going to do npx. You need Node.js as a prerequisite with npm installed. Here's my Node version along with my npm version here, so you just know which ones I am using. Let's just type npx create React app, and then we're going to give it a name. This app is going to be React Anime YouTube. Now let's hit enter, and let's go create our React app, and I'll see you once that is done. Okay everyone, as you can see, that has now finished. So we need to cd into React Anime YouTube, and then let's open this up in Visual Studio Code. Open this up in whichever text editor you prefer, and I'm also going to run yarn start. Now it might give you an npm command. For some reason it's gave me a yarn command, so I'm just going to run the yarn command. I'm going to hit enter, and this is going to open our React application. Let's bring that back, and let's just slide it over slightly, and let's bring this down. I'm trying to keep these side by side. Now, the main reason is I want to keep them side by side is because it obviously makes it a lot easier for you guys to see the result and see the code at the same time. But if that's annoying, then please let me know. So to start off, we're going to delete app test. We do not need it. We're going to delete reports web files. That's going to give us an error. Let's delete this, and let's delete the logo. We're also going to delete index and app.css, and we're going to create a new folder. I'm calling a folder called components, because we're going to create a bunch of different components, and we're also going to have an assets folder, and inside this assets folder I'm going to have a Sass folder, and finally inside the Sass folder we're going to have a main.sass file, and I am using the extension Sass. Let me just get it up. The extension live Sass compiler by Ritwick Day to compile my Sass, and to do that I'm going to just quickly enter some something in here. Let's just say margin 0, padding 0, and then a box sizing of border box. And finally, I'm just going to give it a font family of Fira Sans, whatever you want to call it, and then sans serif. Hit save, and we're going to hit watch Sass, and it's going to generate a new folder inside of our assets folder called CSS with a main.css. So let's head into our index here. Let's close this sidebar and remove that. And up here we have index.css. Let's change this to assets / main.css. Now that should be importing the correct one. We also need to remove web vitals and remove this bit of code down here. Now if we hit save, we're still going to have the issue here. We also need to go into our app and remove the logo SVG and also the app CSS. We're just going to have function app for now. Let's remove everything from in here and just write hello world. Hit save, and we're probably still going to have an issue. As you can see, resolve main.assets. Oh, sorry, we forgot to write assets css.main. Hit refresh, and there you go. We get our hello world application. So let's close index. We no longer need the index file. What we do need, however, is to change this from spaces. So we're going to convert indentations to tabs, and then I'm going to change it from indent tabs to 4. Now, you don't have to do this, but this is my preference. We're also going to create a new component called header.js. I'm going to enter, close this sidebar, and I'm going to run React functional component here. So what this is doing is creating a new functional component. We don't actually need the React part at the top, called header, which we're exporting as header. And then we're just going to replace these JSX with header. And then we're just going to put H1 in here. And this is going to say the strong anime database. Hit save, and nothing's going to happen. We need to go into app. We need to import this. So we're going to say import header from, and then we'll just go do /components/header. Now I'm going to copy this, and inside of here we're just going to run header, hit save, and we should see the anime database. Perfect. So we now have that in there. Let's move, actually no, we'll keep that at the front. So we've got that component. That component is actually finished. That is all we need for this. So we can actually close that and be finished with that. So we need to go in main. Let's actually start styling this straight off the bat. We're going to say, oh, hello, where's that gone? We're going to say header, padding top 50 pixels. Padding top 50 pixels, sorry, that was hard. Padding bottom 50 pixels. We're also going to say the H1 needs to be a color of AAA, a font size of about 36 pixels. We want quite large, a font weight of 400, and finally a text, what am I doing? A text align center. There we go. We're going to need a strong, which has a color of black or a dark gray. And there you go. That's looking good already. Perfect. So now I'm going to actually get the rest of the CSS, and I'm going to paste it in here. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to waste too much time with styling. Now, this is going to be available on GitHub. So if you do need this CSS and you do want this styling, please head over to GitHub and get it. It's basically just displaying flex everything, aligning things. It's very basic styling. We're using some fun things like focus and valid. But I just wanted to get that in there just so we don't have to waste too much time styling everything and actually get into the functionality of the application. So inside of our app here, let's go to sidebar again. And let's zoom in by one. Up here, we're going to actually we need to actually import. We're going to import useState, which is going to allow us to create our state variables. And we're going to get useEffect. And it's going to be from, not React. So inside of our function, let's actually create two new arrays. Or two new variables. We're going to have anime list, and obviously we need to say set anime list, and we're going to set this equal to useState, which is going to be an array. We're then going to have another one, which is going to be top anime, and we're going to say set top anime, and we're going to set this to useState as an empty array as well. Finally, we're going to have a const called search. This is going to say set search. And we're going to set this equal to useState. And this is going to be an empty string. So what we're doing here, so these three different variables or states are going to be used for different things. So we're going to have the anime, we're going to have the anime list, which is going to hold our main anime when we search for it. And we're going to use set anime list to actually set that variable. We then have top anime, which will be our top anime, and God, go away, quick fix. You're so annoying. And we're also going to have search, which is going to be the search we get from our search bar we add in. So let's get the styling done, at least the elements done, and then we will come on back to the functionality after. I just wanted to get those out there so we knew what we were aiming for. So let's create a new element, and let's call it a diff of content wrap, because we're going to need something to style this. I'm then going to create a sidebar component. And we're going to basically pass through top anime and set that equal to the top anime we have up here. So once we get the top anime, we're going to pull it into our sidebar. I'm just going to break this down to a new line to keep it looking clean. So there we go. So now sidebar is not defined. So let's go create that file. So in our Explorer, let's go down to components, right click, file, create new file, and let's call it sidebar.js. Hit enter. Let's close our Explorer, and now let's run React Functional Components Export. So if you're wondering how I do this so quickly, by the way, I have an extension called React, or where is it? ES7 React Redux. Let's just widen this for a second. GraphQL React Native snippets, and it just allows us to run really simple commands to create boilerplate code really quickly. Let's just close that and go back to our sidebar and also close the side navigation there. Cool, so we've got our sidebar. Now, we're using HTML5 semantic tags, so we're going to say aside. And then inside this, we're going to have a nav, because there's going to be a navigation. And then inside here, we're going to have a H3. Now, in the H3, we're going to say top anime. And within here, we're going to have some anchor tags. Now, the anchor tags are going to have a href. We're going to leave it as blank for now. Oh, not end region. And they will also have a target equal to underscore blank, because they're going to lead to a different website. And we're also going to have a relevance of no referrer. Now, this is just for SEO and stuff like that. So I've actually spelled no refer. Referrer. That's it, right? Yes. And let's break these down onto separate tags just to make it easier to read. And also, because we're using such a small screen, it makes it easier for me to write. Underneath here, we're going to have the anime tiles. Let's just say attack on Titan. Save. And let's go back to app. Let's import this component. So we're going to import sidebar. Sidebar from /component/sidebar. And let's, and that should be it. If we hit save, there you go. We get, I have just accidentally clicked it because it goes to nothing. It's just going to open out. And as you can see, we get attack, top anime, attack on Titan here as well, the links. Now, if we go into sidebar and just copy this a couple of times for now, let's do it twice. Let's call this one One Punch Man. And the one below it will do Sword Art Online. Save. Refresh. And there we go. We've got a couple of links on the side. We're obviously going to pre-populate this with data from the anime database we're using. But for now, we'll just crack on. So let's close the sidebar here. Now, let's go into... We need to create our main content here. So let's create a new component on the side. Let's drop these down. We don't need those open. Let's go into components, create a new file, and call this main content.js. Now in here, again, we're going to do React functional component export. And then here we go. Inside here, we're going to use a main tag. Again, another HTML5 semantic tag. We're then going to have inside here a div which has the class of main head, And inside here, let's close this sidebar, so we're going to get really messy. We're going to have a form, no action on it. It will have a class name equal to search-box. And then we're going to have an input of type search, It's going to have a name. Well, it doesn't need a name. Let's break this down onto a different line as well. Type search is going to have a placeholder, which is going to be equal to search for an anime, ... And then we're going to have it required. And finally, we're going to have we're not going to have a value just yet. Let's bring this across, hit save. And, we forgot to import it in our app. Let's import main content from, again, /components/main content. Now, if in here, next to the sidebar, we're just going to have main content. And let's bring this over, hit save. And there you go. We've got our little search box here. So now we have pretty much all the components we need. We need to obviously set up a anime card and loop through it in our main content. But first, let's get the top anime importing. So we've got in our app, we have to create a new function. And we're going to need to use the Jikan API. So let's head over and let me show you what the Jikan API is. So as you can see here, let's just start from the top. This is the Jikan API. Now, it's an unofficial My Anime List API. It scrapes the website and steals basically their information, so we can use it in this really cool open API. Jikan, I don't know how you pronounce it, does not support authenticated requests. You don't need an API key, you just need the API path. As you can see here, we've got the API path and its version number, which is version 3.4, and we're going to be using this to make requests. Now, if we scroll down, we can, or if we open the sidebar, we can go all the way down to search, which we can see here. So you can see we can make a search request and get all this information. So these are all the parameters we can use, but the one we're going to be using is top. Now top allows us to get the top anime, and if we have a look at the example here, you can see we run this command. We then need to give it a type, which in our case is going to be anime. It could be manga or something else. A page, so we need to just pass through one because we're only going to get the first page of results. And then a subtype. And the subtype is like upcoming and different things like that. We're going to be doing ours by popularity. So our subtype will be by popularity. So let's actually copy this and go back to our React app. And now inside here, we're going to create a constant called getTopAnime. We're going to set it equal to an asynchronous arrow function. And in here, we're going to do a const temp, which is going to be where we get our array. And then we're going to say fetch, and we're going to use backticks here. And we're going to paste in that command here, or that URL. And in here, we're going to change type for anime. We're then going to change our second one to 1 because it's going to be page 1. And our subtype is going to be by popularity. There you go. And then we're going to do a dot then. And in this dot then, we're going to get the response. And we're going to convert the response into JSON. So that's going to store the JSON data inside of our temp. Now, below here, we then need to say set top anime using the useState function, set top anime, and we're going to pass through temp, but then we're going to do dot top because that's where it stores it. We're then going to slice the array, and we're going to get from the first one to the 5th. So what we're doing here is we're slicing the array because this returns 50 different anime. We only want to get 5 of those. So we're going to slice the array and just pass back the top 5 anime. So that's exactly what we're doing here. So now we need to use a use effect. And in the use effect, we're going to just pass an arrow function. The arrow function will have a empty dependency list because we only want it to be called as soon as the application starts. And we're going to run get top anime. Now we're going to log in here our top anime. So if we open up our search bar at the bottom here and we refresh the page, we should, if it works, let's try log something out. I think we are getting it. See that empty array? I think that is it. So we hit save and refresh, top anime. Yeah, so that is the top anime array. I think because we're in the use effect, it actually doesn't give us it. So if we go back in here and we just, actually we can console log this outside of the use effect. The issue with the use effect is when you set top anime, it won't actually, you won't see it in the use effect. You can only get it from outside because this is called, and then it will, because this is a fetch request, it takes some time. So you can't call it directly in here. But as you can see, we now have top anime being passed through. You can see we have Death Note, Attack on Titan, Full Metal Alchemist, Sword Art Online, and One Punch Man. Perfect. So let's just close this. Let's delete this. And here, where we've passed through top anime into our sidebar, let's close our main content, open up the sidebar. Let's get the sidebar component. And now let's actually loop through our top anime in here. So let's delete all of these but one. On the outside of this, well, in the sidebar, we just need to, we can destructure this and just say top anime. So we're just going to grab just a top anime prop. And in here, we're going to say, boop, we're going to say prop, oh, not props, top anime dot map. And we're going to pass the anime through. And then we need to pass through parentheses again, which will be our JSX renderer. And we need to pass through a pair of tags. So we're going to pass through the anchor tag here. We're going to move this up in here, tab that out one. And now we can actually pass through the actual name of the anime. So we're going to say anime.title, hit save. Because as you can see in here, we get title. And as you can see, we get all of them. Now it's going to throw us an error because we need a key. So let's add a key on here. So we're going to say key is equal to anime. And as you can see in our list, we get a mal ID. So we're going to say dot mal underscore ID, hit save. And that should get rid of this error. Let's refresh the page so it looks like, there you go. So we can now see everything there. Now the href we need to set to anime, not atomics, wow. Anime dot URL. And that way, now if we hover over these, you can see it gives us the right link. So if we click on Death Note, it takes us to my anime list and the Death Note listing, which is popularity #1, as you can see there. So it's returning the correct data. And there you go. So that is now working. We've got our sidebar. Perfect. So let's close the sidebar now. The next thing we need to do is actually get our search results working. So let's create a new function, and let's call this const handle search, which is going to be another arrow function, which we're just going to set to prevent default, because this is going to grab our form submission. So we just need to stop it from refreshing the page, and then we're just going to say fetch anime, and we're going to pass through the search. Now the search is going to be this here. But before we do that, let's just comment out and let's just console.log search, because we want to know if it's working. So let's pass this into our main content. Now there's a few things we need to pass into our main content. Handle search is got to be equal to handle search. We then need just search, which will be equal to just search. We're going to need a fetch anime command and also top anime. Top anime. We're going to need our anime list, which will be anime list. And we're also going to need our fetch. Well, we won't need this yet because it doesn't exist. So let's just use these three for now. Let's bring that back up onto that line. So we've got these three. We've got our handle search function, and then we've got our two different variables. So let's go into main content. So let's open up main content, shut the sidebar again. And now in here, we're going to get some props. And what we're going to do with those props is on the form, let's break this down one again. We're going to do an on submit event. And what we're going to do in there is say props.handle search. And that's all we're going to do, because that's going to call a search. Next thing we need to do is bind input to our search value. Now to do that, let's break this down on a new line, and let's say value is equal to props.search. But then we also need to have an on change event to actually bind the value. So what we're going to do here is say e arrow functions. We're passing the event into props.set search, which we need to actually pass through, which we didn't here. So let's under search just say set search equal to set search, which is correct, right? Set search, yes. Hit save, go back into main content and say props.set search. Then we're going to pass through e.target.value. As you can see here, we're calling set search, and for a component is changing uncontrolled by input. Let's just refresh that page. That's going to give us an error. So now when we write in something in here, let's say test, and hit enter, you can see it now returns it back inside of our console, which we're console logging inside of handle search. So now we need to actually call fetch anime. So let's make this function. So underneath handle search, let's call const fetch anime and set that equal to an asynchronous arrow function again. And this time it's going to take a property of search, which is obviously going to be, or we're going to say query, because it's going to be a query we pass through. And let's then start by saying another temp. So we'll say const temp is equal to await fetch, which is going to have backticks. And then let's just copy the first part here of this. Then we need to say anime. And let's have a look at the Jikan API to know exactly what else we need to do. So let's go back. Let's go to search. Let's scroll down to where it says, so there is always a search request example. And as you can see, it says search. And then we need to do type. So sorry, not anime. It needs to be search /anime question mark Q for query equals, and now we need to pass through the query we're receiving in our parameter here. And then we need to say and order underscore by equal to, and we're just going to set this to now to title, but you can actually pass through a query here. So if you wanted to order this, you could pass through another one which says order by, pass that in there, and then you can set it dynamically from what your filters are if you set up filters. But we're also going to do and sort, and we're going to sort it by asynchronous. Oh, ASC. And finally, we're going to set limit, because we don't want too many back. We only want 10 back for now. So we're going to set it to 10. Again, these could all be changed in variables on your actual React page. And next to this filter, you could have a drop down of filter, or sorry, next to the search, you could have a drop down of filters where you set all these filters to. So let's go down and let's just say, well, we actually need to say dot then. We need to say res is equal to res.json, because again, we want to get JSON back. And now we need to say set anime list to temp.results, which is the results we get back from these API. So we now set the anime. Let's go down here and actually pass. Oh, we've already passed through anime list, which is great. So let's go on to main content. And let's actually create an area now where we can get this information. But let's test this quickly. So when we fetch anime, when we call handle search, I think, I don't know if we can actually call it here, but we can at least log the temp results. So let's just log temp results. There's an extra parenthesis there, my bad. Hit save. And now let's search for Naruto. And there you go. You can see we get the list of anime for Naruto. Let's try something else. Let's try Demon Slayer. And as you can see, we get another list. And the top one is Demon Slayer. Kimetsu no Yaiba. I probably butchered that. I'm sorry. But there you go. You can see how it works. So let's close this. Let's remove this console log. And let's actually print these on screen now. So in here, underneath our main head, we're going to create an anime-list div. And inside this, we're going to say props.animelist.map. And we're going to say anime is equal to, again, pass through this. And we're just, for now, we're going to say anime.title. Hit save. Oh, and what's the error here? Expected a comma. Anime.title. I think we actually need to put this inside some sort of div. So let's just say dot anime card. There you go. So as you can see, it's already lined up. We've got a list of the 10. So let's just try this again with Dragon Ball. And there you go. You can see we've got a list of Dragon Ball. So let's actually style this out. So let's move this. We're going to delete this and we're going to create a new variable. It's going to be called anime card. And it's going to receive a anime, which is going to be our anime. It's also going to receive a key, which will be anime.mal_ID. And let's close this off here. So let's go into our components. Let's create a new file and call it animecard.js. And we're going to run React functional component export. And there you go. That's now there. Let's just save that. Let's go into main content and let's import it. Let's close the sidebar too. We're just going to import anime card from, and because it's in the same directory, we just need to say anime card. Hit save. Now that should go away, and there we go. So inside of anime card, we're going to need to set up a, well, let's delete this and let's just create a new article, another semantic tag with anime card. In here, let's create an anchor tag because we're going to need hrefs, but we'll do that in a second. We're going to pass through a figure, again, another semantic tag with an image inside. And we're going to set this straight away to anime.image_URL. We're not going to use an alt tag for this. Actually, we will. We'll call it anime image. Just so there's something there. You always want to try and use accessibility as best as possible. So alt tags and everything on images. And under here, we're finally going to have a h3 that says anime.title. Now, the reason we're getting an error is because we need to actually destructure our props to get the anime out up here. So this actually makes sense. And there you go. You can see we actually already have our search working, but we need our href here. So let's set this to anime.url. We're going to say target equal to _blank. And finally, we're going to say relevance is equal to no ref error. And let's break these down because, you know, it looks neater and it works better, especially when you've got half a screen. There you go. So now we have a full anime database. So we've got our top anime on the side here. You could even add little images on the side if you really want to. Maybe a little circle there, which would be really cool. Oh my god, why didn't I do that? I'm going to definitely update that later. But in here, we can now search for whatever we want. So let's say Naruto. And there you go, we get Naruto. Let's search for something else. What's another good one? Sword Art Online. Hit enter. That took a while to pull through, but there you go. We've got Sword Art Online here. And another one could be Demon Slayer. I've already done that earlier, but we'll do it anyway. And there you go, we get Demon Slayer, which is really awesome, guys. So, as you can see, guys, this is the end of this video. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know down in the comments if you have. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. Smash that subscribe button and help us get to that 20k mark on this YouTube channel. It'd be absolutely an honor and amazing for you guys to do that for me. And lastly, obviously leave your comments, share it with your friends, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Thank you for watching, and peace out.